Hello and welcome back. So it's an exciting week because Be the First Progression for Black Lawyers is currently open for enrollment. So I wanted to do a series of short episodes for you or short videos for you, depending on how you're consuming this, which answers this very important question that is almost certainly front of mind if you're reading my material, reading my posts, receiving my emails, and wondering, should you join Be the First Progression for Black Lawyers? Is it for you? So what I want to do in this session is answer that question. I'm going to walk you through, quite simply, the 4 criteria that I look for and I would expect to see in the ideal candidate for this group. And before I tell you what those 4 criteria are, I want to just give you a little bit of context for why I applied this criteria or this filter for the best fit client for this program. And the reason is really simple. I am, with this program, creating the most potent, the most powerful, the most effective career progression process and program that is available in the market, available in the world. I want to create the one that is going to produce the best results for you, give you the best experience and sense of being supported as you embark on that journey to achieving your goal, and one in which sets you up to have lasting success and have a lasting impact in this industry. All of which is a long way of saying, I want to make sure that your chances of achieving exactly the goal that you want is at its absolute highest, at its optimal best. And the way that I achieve that is by making sure that I'm putting together in the room people who are similarly ambitious in terms of their goals. They are similarly open to being coached and supporting each other, and they're similarly willing to do the work and to stay on track and to commit really to this process and to the goal that they want to achieve. Okay, so as I was saying, the program is currently open for enrollment. At the time of recording this, it is Monday, the 15th of July, 2024. We're only open for enrollment for another 2 days. So it closes at 6 p.m. on Wednesday, the 17th of July. That's 6 p.m. UK time right now. So that's British summertime. So if you're listening to this when it goes out, I want to urge you, as I go through these 4 criteria, if you are ticking them off, then get your application in right now before the deadline. You've got just over 48 hours, about 2.5 days left. And you'll find the link, right? This is the essential bit of information. You'll find the link to apply actually in the notes to this post or in the show notes if you're listening on the podcast. And just so you know what that application process looks like, you know what to expect. Number 1, it's a short form that just gives me your details and actually confirms that you meet this criteria. It's just really important, and for reasons that I'll explain in this session. Number 2 is you then book an application call with me. We just jump on a call for about 20-30 minutes where I get to understand exactly what your progression goal is. This is a group program, but although it's a group program, I still am very focused on your individual goal. It's not a one size fits all. I'm still going to understand, learn, and be nurturing you individually towards your progression goal. We just do it in a container that is the group coaching container. I'll talk more about that if not in this episode, but in another one that's coming up shortly. Okay, so what are the 4 criteria, or what I should say is the way that you will know that Be the First is for you? What I want to offer, it's not an either or. What you want to do is meet all 4 of these criteria. So how you know that Be the First is for you, the progression program for Black lawyers, is perhaps the most obvious point, which is you are a Black lawyer. Now, I don't get all caught up in what it means to be a Black lawyer, whether you call yourself Black or identify in that way or not. This is not something for me to decide and choose, obviously. I just want you to know that this program I've created for the experience of being a Black lawyer in a white world. That's how I talk about it. And by white world, I'm referring to typically a corporate environment where you are like the only one in the room or one of very few ethnic minorities in the room. And you are conscious of that and aware of how that impacts your career trajectory, your career journey. Okay, so the first way you know this program is for you is if at some level you identify with that, you identify with being Black. Now, why is that? I just decided, there's no particular science to it, but I just made the decision that where I wanted to focus 100% of my energy and of the skills, the experience, the expertise that I have to offer the world, I've decided to invest all of it in the progression of Black lawyers. I am very passionate about this. I'm very passionate about helping my people. I'm very passionate, particularly about helping my people who have come so far. We have come so far, there's more of us entering the legal profession than ever before. And I want that trend to continue. I want it to grow. And most importantly, I want that trend to continue through all of the ranks of the legal profession. Right now, of course, we're seeing so many more Black lawyers entering the profession, but still at the mid-level, at the senior level, there are too few of us there. Too few of us are having the impact, having the influence, having the status, making the money, having the opportunities, right, that so many of our white peers have been having for decades and generations. There are too few of us that have access to that right now. It's changing at the lower level of the industry. I want that change to continue and to build. And so what I see my mission as being, particularly as a Black woman who entered this profession, I had just under 10 years of being successful in this profession, and my experience, of course, of having been the only Black person Black pupil in an all-white school and having had that experience my whole life, I'm bringing all of that to support you and also to bring you on board to what I strongly, passionately believe is a movement to change the face of the industry. So there's two elements to it. You can hear there's your individual goal to progress, and then there's the collective goal and the impact that we can make on the world, how we can change this industry. And I'm heavily invested in that, which is why I 100% focus on Black lawyers in this program. So if you know that's you, then you can tick the first box of being ready to apply. The second way you know that Be the First Progression for Black lawyers is for you is that you are a mid to senior level lawyer. Now, I want to just let you know, if you are not mid to senior level, then if you are more junior, if you're a trainee, if you're newly qualified, if you're a paralegal trying to get into the profession, I know that this program is like not available for you right now because this is directed at a particular level, and what I teach is directed at a particular level of seniority. But don't go away. I want to make sure that you keep listening to the podcast or keep watching these videos, and most importantly, get on my email, my mailing list if you're not already. You can do that within the website. I will also include a link to that on the notes under this post or in the show notes of the podcast. Make sure you get on my mailing list. Why? Because I'm creating and building something so exciting for you that I will be launching in the final quarter of this year, towards the end of the year, which is specifically for your experience as a Black lawyer, either at the beginning of that journey or when you're training, if you're doing a training contract, or if you're just newly qualified. I'm creating something for you that speaks to exactly what I know you're struggling with, and I know that you need and want more of at that level in the profession. So don't go away, stay connected, keep following me, sign up to the mailing list. Okay, so let's talk about who the program is for, the levels of seniority I have created this and directed this program towards. Mid to senior level lawyers. What that means is you can be either like any type of lawyer, right? So you can either be in-house, you can be in private practice, or you can be a barrister, right? So it doesn't matter what type of law you practice. I also have trademark attorneys, lawyers in the program. So as long as you are a qualified lawyer, okay, and you are currently practicing, that's another very important element, then this program is perfect for you. So giving you the examples of like where you might be working, the type of role you might have. Here's why I'm very focused. I've kept this program for your group. And the reason is at this level, at this more senior level, what is required of you to progress is different to what you have demonstrated and what has enabled you to progress so far. I often say what got you here won't get you there. So I want you to think about a great example of this, for example, and this may be a thought that you have, I have to work twice as hard. Yeah, I have to work twice as hard as my white peers to get to the goal or to get the promotion. Now, that may have worked really well for you up until this point. But when you are at mid to senior level, you're looking to go up into to getting silk if you're a barrister, if you're looking to become a partner, if you are looking to become a GC, what is required is so much more of you, or different. You need to demonstrate different skills beyond the ability to just put your head down and do the work. A great example of this is that instead of working twice as hard, what you need to be doing is focusing on adding value. So that's just an example of how and why I limit this group to that level of seniority. It's because the skills you need are different at this level. And what I'll tell you that is waiting for you inside Be the First that addresses this is I teach you the 5 core skills that you need to progress at this level. It's different to what I will be teaching your junior peers, right? The trainees, the junior associates. You need something different. You need something different to what you have been doing consistently that's been getting you results. More is required of you, okay? All right. Another reason why I've focused on this more senior group for this program is because the challenges get harder. Now, there's, of course, the typical challenge that you would expect that also your white peers experience, which is there's more competition for fewer places, right, at the top. So that for sure is a given. But what I want to add that's specific to your experience of being a Black lawyer is those challenges that you have to navigate. The fact that the environment is not very diverse, not diverse enough. The fact that you're not included on occasions or at times, or that might be your experience all the time. The fact that you have to navigate like the personal development, the things you're expected to change or adapt in response to feedback that you're given. You have to navigate that alongside like being authentically you, what you believe to be an authentic part of who you are and how you can be that authentic you at the same time as adapting and continue your personal development. So you have to navigate that, right? Which sometimes can feel like a real cultural challenge. That's harder the higher up you get. Likewise, finally, it can be harder. You may experience more racism, right, at the top than you do at the bottom. The sheer fact that there are fewer of you means you may find yourself in an environment where it's considered more, I don't know if acceptable is the right word, but where you are in rooms with people who think they can get away with saying things. And I think that happens more and more as you get more senior, for example. But generally navigating those challenges of being a Black lawyer, the more senior you go, the more potentially lonely it is, right? The harder it can feel. That's why this program is so specific for your level, is it addresses that. And here's how I address that. I teach you that crucial mindset. Be the first. It's like a whole belief system that is going to support you to navigate those challenges in a way that previously you may not have needed to, just at that much higher level. Okay. So as an overview then of what Be the First will give you, this program when you join, being a Black mid to senior level lawyer, is you get the 5 critical skills. I already mentioned those that you need to progress from the level you are at now into that more senior level. You get that mindset I talked about. I teach you the mindset, that Be the First belief system that is going to support you to be able to navigate those challenges that are going to show up more and more as the further up you go. And as an example of that, you will hear, if you've been following me at all, you will hear me talk about you're not the only one in the room. You're the first. that kind of thinking, that kind of reframe, that kind of mindset shift. We do a lot of this work in Be the First Progression for Black lawyers. It is absolutely essential. If you are going to progress to that next level, put yourself in bigger and bigger and whiter rooms, you need to be in control of your emotions, your mindset, and be choosing thoughts and beliefs that really build your confidence and build your belief in yourself to be bigger than those circumstances, bigger than an environment where it feels like maybe you can't succeed because you don't have the role models or because they're not including you. That belief system is absolutely key, and it's something I teach, and you can only learn in this program, right? This is something developed and tested and that I've been adapting through thousands of hours of coaching Black lawyers just like you, as well as applying them to tremendous effect in my own life too. So you get the 5 core skills, you get the Be the First belief system. I also give you the tools. So I create lots of very unique tools that are specifically designed to help you build your skill set. So there's 5 skills. I give you the tools that help you build those tools really quickly and really effectively. One of my examples of this is a skill I teach you, for example, in Be the First, is to be able to connect to build relationships with anyone, with people who don't look like you. It's very specific to your experience. You can see now why joining Be the First gives you so much more than joining just a typical career progression or professional development program. This speaks specifically to your experience of being a Black lawyer, right? So building relationships, not just generally the way everybody else does, the way your white peers do, but building relationships with people who are different to you. I teach you how to do that. I teach you how to connect with people really easily. Doesn't matter who they are, how different they may seem. And the way I teach that, the tool I give you is called Relate Agility. Again, you won't find that anywhere else. I created Relate Agility. It's that skill that I teach you in a methodology that I teach. You learn it in Be the First, right? And this is what gives you the skill set of being able to build relationships with anyone. And when you have that skill set, my friends, you will be able to walk into any room. You will be able to sit at any table, speak to anyone, speak up in front of anyone. This is a lifelong skill that I teach you. And the tool I give you, Relate Agility, is one that you will have to take forward with you at every level of your career. It's why it's so valuable. I'm so passionate about this. So that's just an example of how beautifully tailored the program is to the specific needs that you will have at this level. Not because you're less than, not because you're not as good as your white peers, but because the challenges you face are different. They are harder. Progressing is harder when you're the only one in the room. I know that. That's why I built and created this program to support you through those unique challenges. Okay, a couple of other things. Actually, no, just one other thing to mention about how I've created this program to perfectly suit and meet you at that mid to senior level, lawyer level. It's about the implementation. So as part of the program, I coach you every single week on the implementation. Remember, I said that as you get into bigger and bigger rooms, as you progress, it gets harder, right? Those challenges the hurdles do feel higher. And what I want to offer is now more than ever, you absolutely need to be implementing the skills and the tools I teach you and getting coached along the way. This is the level where I'm going to admit you are most vulnerable to thinking, oh, it can't be done. It will never work in this law firm or in this company. Oh, I don't want to do this anymore. I might want to change profession. I want to go and follow my passion. I would say the attrition, well, you know, right? The attrition rate of Black lawyers at your level is extremely high. It's higher than your firm wants it to be. It's higher than your company wants it to be. This is the moment where I'm seeing so many of you. You've worked so hard to build this career and to get where you are. And this is the moment where I see the most number of wobbles, right? So what you get in Be the First coaching, which makes it far superior in terms of actually getting you to the finish line, getting you to the results. I'm not afraid or shy to say that. What makes it stand out as a program that will deliver exactly what you need from it is the fact that I coach you on the implementation. I coach you every single week. So you are in the role, in the work, doing it, applying what you've learned. And I'm seeing you all the time. And you're giving me the feedback on, you're sharing with me what happened, the feedback you've received, and the things that are coming up for you that might be in the form of frustration or the way you're interpreting things, all of the many obstacles and challenges that we encounter. It's a normal part of work and life, but the ways in which they can really throw you off track or make you want to give up, I'm coaching you on that every step of the way. And because I'm doing that, because I'm by your side on your whole journey, it makes you achieving a result so much more certain, so much more possible for you, so much more like measurable and sustainable. I'm really, really committed to that. Like, it's not just a quick, let's see if we can sort of quickly achieve your goal. We are working together to really elevate you as a lawyer, as well as to elevate your position, right? Your role within your organization. Okay, so lots of goodness, right? That is perfectly and beautifully curated for the Black lawyer who's at mid to senior level and is currently practicing. Okay, so if you tick that box too, then stay with me, then you are getting more and more closer and closer to being the ideal client for joining this program. All right. So the next, the third piece of criteria I apply, and what I want you to ask yourself, okay, is it for me? Is this, do I want to progress? I want you to ask yourself that question. Do I want to progress? It sounds obvious. When you think about a career progression program, it sounds like, well, obviously I would want to join it if it's called career progression program and I'm interested in it, then of course I want to progress. But I want you to really challenge yourself and take it one step further and ask how. And if you can identify any of the, like, I'm going to give you some examples of how you might want to progress, but if you can identify in you any of these, then you are the perfect person for this program. Number one, you want to be promoted to a new role. Super simple. I don't mind what that role is. It might be to MD level. It might be, if you're in-house, it might be to be a partner. It might be to be general counsel, head of legal. But you want to progress to a new role. Simple. But it may also be that you've been promoted to a new role and what you actually want to do is be successful in this role. I love this as a reason for joining my program, right? You being successful in a new role is such an important goal to have, and you will need to, like, the desire to progress is what creates that, right? So the more willing you are, the more you want to progress, the more successful you will be in your role. So that's also a fantastic example of a desire to progress. I want to offer, however, that progression is not just about getting promoted or having been promoted and making a success of your new role. There are so many other ways to progress. And I want to highlight these because they are so important and valuable. And what I will offer is that if these are front of mind for you now, it is actually essential that you give yourself the gift of, like, deciding this is my career progression goal and I'm going to go for it. And when I explain what they are, you'll understand why. Number one, the goal to work with less stress, have less stress and anxiety and fear in your day-to-day life. So I see there's a lot that your general experience of being a lawyer, there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of worry, there's a lot of stress. If this is you, then your goal is simply, I talk about it, lawyering with ease. Like, that is a beautiful, worthy, transformational goal. So maybe it's that. If you want to be able to lawyer with more ease instead of all the stress and the worry and the constant anxiety, that makes you right for this program. If you want to be able to work in a way that you feel less overwhelmed, right, and less like all you ever do is work and there's no time for anything else, in other words, you want better balance or some form of balance, right? That is a worthy progression goal, to be able to do your job and do it well, but actually carve out time for the people and the things that matter to you outside work. But also, this is where I see a lot of you falling down, carving out time to take care of yourself, okay? So better balance of some kind, that is a worthy progression goal. Another progression goal is confidence. I hear and see so many of you struggling with confidence, right? Still questioning yourself. A lot of imposter syndrome still coming up. If this is something you know that you're struggling with, that holds you back, that impacts your ability to perform to your potential, then having more confidence is a great objective for this program. If you're at that mid to senior level, it's so important. And I'll give you to let you in on a secret. I end up coaching on confidence throughout this program. Some people come to the program and think they don't need it, but actually when we're coaching, they realize how there is this part of them that they have perhaps been ignoring or not realized is actually the reason why they're not progressing in a certain area. For example, why they're not able to build the relationships with a certain level of seniority, right? Often confidence can be the underlying issue. So I welcome you. If confidence is an issue for you at this level, join the program. All right. So those are some examples really of the different types of progression goal you might have. The key is you want it, right? There is something that you want to do better or do more of or to do differently. That for you is going to mean you progress. Okay. Now, why is this important? Why is it important that you have this clear desire to progress? It's important because it's a coaching program. It's just a tool that will get you from where you are to where you want to be. So it's really important that you have a sense of where you want to be. I do want to add, by the way, if you have no idea what your goal is, but you know you want to move beyond where you are now, maybe you're experiencing frustration where you are now, maybe you know you're capable of more, you want to fulfill more of your potential, but you don't know exactly what that would look like in the form of a goal, then I want to offer you that's also a great reason to join this program, because within the program, one of the first things we do is you get on a call with me, as I said, and we figure out what your goal is. We do a progression audit where I look at those different elements of your career, exactly what's kind of going on, different elements, not so much of your career, like how you are lawyering right now, like what your experience of being a lawyer is. And we use that information that you give me when we do that audit, and together we can define your progression goal. So don't worry if you're concerned that, oh, I don't really know exactly what I want, or you're undecided. You can still, I really want to recommend you book the application consultation with me with the link that's going to be on this post or in the show notes. Book in with me and we will figure out and we'll hone down and decide what your goal is going to be. We'll co-create that together. So don't let that put you off if you're not sure where you want to progress to, but you know you want to progress. The important thing is you know you want to progress. Okay, now how be the first is, I'm so proud of this. What makes it so perfect for you as a Black lawyer, as a Black mid to senior level lawyer who wants to progress? Here are the 4 qualities I'm so proud of that this program delivers on. Number 1, your progress under this program is measurable. I mentioned the progression audit earlier. As part of that audit, we look at exactly where you are now. And what we do is we set and decide what the indicators are going to be for how we know that you are progressing, how we will know that you've achieved your goal. Yeah, we set that up from the outset. So your progress is going to be measurable. The second thing we do, and again, using the progression audit, but with a particular focus on what I call the 4 pillars of career progression. And these are the 4 things that every lawyer needs to sustain them throughout their career. It's a certain amount it's the confidence, it's the balance, right? The work-life balance, or their ability to adjust that and adapt to that. It's the ability to lawyer with ease, and it's the ability to get recognition along the way. Those are the 4 pillars that you need to sustain you in your career. So if you are being promoted or moving up to the next level, what we want to make sure we do is look after all of those 4 pillars at the same time. That is what ensures your progress is sustainable. I know a lot of you want to be partner, or you want to be GC, or you want to move up to the next level. And your number 1 worry is, how can I do it? Am I going to burn out? I'm already doing so much, giving so much. I don't know how I'm going to have even the capacity for a new role. don't worry. Like, I make sure that any progress you make is sustainable. We work together to ensure that those 4 pillars are looked after the whole way. So your progress is measurable. Your progress is sustainable. Another very cool thing. This is the third very cool thing I'm very proud of about this program being the first. I really thought about this and designed the program to give you these 4 things. So the third thing is that your progression is repeatable. It's repeatable. So it's not just that you work with me and then you progress once and then that's it. And then you have to start from the beginning again. Nuh-uh. The skills you learn, the tools I give you, you will have for life, which means you can just keep repeating your progress, your progression over and over again. In other words, you learn to succeed at this level, and then what you learn enables you to succeed at every level. You already have exactly what it takes. How cool is that? Measurable, sustainable, repeatable. And then, as if that wasn't enough, I love and proudly state this, right? And have like looking at my clients, the results they're getting every single week. Your progression under Be the First Progression for Black Lawyers is inevitable. Here's the promise I make you in this program. I promise that you, after 6 months of working with me, either you achieve your career progression goal, like the goal that we agree at the start of the program, or you transcend it. You either achieve your progression goal or you transcend it. Okay, so what does that mean? Okay, achieving your progression goal is simple. You set your goal and you achieve it. So you wanted to be promoted, and guess what? You get promoted. But what happens if you don't achieve that goal? What about the scenarios where, you'd be asking me, Caroline, is there ever a moment when somebody doesn't get promoted? Like, surely you can't guarantee someone's promotion. And you're absolutely right. I am not in control of the universe around you. What I teach you to do is to be bigger than the circumstances around you so that you can do everything in your power to create that result for yourself. I teach you how to create the result you want. And I honestly believe that once I've taught you that, you will create that result. The only thing that changes is it may not appear in the timeline that you've set. So if you think you want to be partner in 6 months, it may not be at 6 months, but it does happen like at 9 months or a little bit later. So we allow for the fact that you will achieve your goal, but there can be new information, the timeline can shift. Like, we know that there are certain factors that may influence the timing that perhaps we didn't know about at the beginning. So I'm saying that so I'm really transparent about like my promise to you that you will fulfill your goal is absolutely solid. However, what we want to allow for is the times when, it may take you longer than you expected because we have new information that appears along the way. Like, that can happen. But what about just transcending your goal? I have a great example of a client recently, and this is who inspired this way of talking about the results you get under this program. And that's where your goal is a very fixed goal. It's like a finish line. It's it's like the end point. And when you join the program, that's probably all you're thinking about. And then as you go through the program, what you notice is how you think changes, your confidence level changes, who you are as a colleague changes, your ability to relate with people, who you are in the room changes, who you are to your children and how you speak to them about what's possible changes. The blind spots that you had before fall away. The belief you have about what you can create and what's possible for you, that is amplified. It completely changes. So there are so many results that my clients are getting that you will get under this program that are so much bigger than the fixed finish line, the title, the goal. I'm not saying we don't value that. We do absolutely value the goal and you achieving it. And all of our efforts go towards you achieving that in a measurable and sustainable way. But what we're also doing is we're playing the bigger game. We're playing the infinite game of like who you are, how you show up, how your life is better, how you feel better as a result of being in this program. That's what I mean about transcending it. It's when here's the way this client described it. She said, like if she could have her like money back, it was something along, it wasn't these exact words, but like she would take those results So for her, it was a delay, right, in achieving that progression goal. So it didn't happen in that 6 months that she had initially wanted it to. But then she transcended her goal and she was just like, no amount of money would I don't want to ever give up this, like who I am now, how I think about myself now, how I talk to my children now, and what I teach them about the world and about what's possible, what I believe for myself as being possible. I don't want to give up any of that. Like I've got like such a multiple times return on my investment. It's been so worth it. And by the way, we still like continued on like getting her to that goal. It's not that we ever let that go. So I hope I've been able to explain there in a very uh like practical way and I was going to say transparent way, what I mean when I say you will either achieve your goal or you transcend it. Those are the two promises under this program. So if you want either to achieve a goal or in the absence of achieving, let's say that goal takes you a bit longer than you expected, but you become such a bigger person, such a more confident person, more capable person, more able to relate, and all of those things I've already listed, like you get that as a minimum under this program. That's what I want to say is an absolute minimum. And we still go all in on your goal. So don't think that it's an either or, okay? All right, so your progression under this program is measurable, sustainable, repeatable, and inevitable in the way I've just described. Okay, the final point then this is how you know you are not just a great fit for this program, but it's the time to act right now, is you're ready to take ownership. What do I mean by that? I mean, you are ready to look at all of the things that you can be doing to focus on what you can control as a way of moving your career forward, as a way of progressing. So you're tired of waiting for things outside of you to change. Tired, for example, of waiting for the firm or the organization where you work to be more diverse. You're tired of waiting for them to include you. You're tired of waiting for them to get it and let you be more authentic. You're tired of being passive in this. I feel so strongly about taking ownership. I think it is the most significant like decision that you could make, not just in your career, but in your life. Like the decision that I'm going to focus on what I can control rather than be in the energy and put all of my attention and focus on all of the things outside of me, which should be better, how the world should be different, how other people should be different. Instead of focusing all of my energy there, like be able to think about like, what can I do? What can I control? How far can I take this, even with all of those circumstances being true? This is taking ownership, asking those questions and then creating an action plan that you then execute so you are actually taking control of those things that are in your control. You are actually moving things forward. So if you're ready to do that, if you're ready to stop waiting for the circumstances outside of you to change, if you are ready also to look at the ways in which you might be getting in your own way. This happens a lot. The way you might trash talk yourself or judge yourself or I should have or why didn't I, all of that. If you're ready to start looking at that and changing it, you're the perfect person, perfect fit for this program. And then finally, it may simply be a question of like this decision to take ownership could simply be a question of you've had feedback. You know, for example, you need to be more visible and you find that hard, right? And so actually you want to take ownership of that and decide you are going to do something about it. You want to work at making it better. That's another way of taking ownership. It's like, actually, I know that this comes up a lot, right, in the program. I'm an introvert, so it doesn't come naturally to me to be out and networking and like building relationships, and trying to win clients. It's a willingness to say, okay, I'm going to take ownership of that and see that there's something I can work on. There's something, it's within my control to learn to get better at that. So another beautiful example of taking ownership, seeing a skill set that you want to cultivate, you want to grow, even if you find it hard. Okay, that was amazing run through of Actually a bit longer than I expected. There was a lot more to say than I realized. A run through of like those 4 key ways in which you know you are the right fit for this program. So you are a Black lawyer, you are a mid to senior level, you want to progress, and you are ready to take ownership. Okay, you tick all of those boxes. I want you to stop what you're doing right now. If you're out for a walk or you're at your desk, I want you to click on the link that you'll see in the comments, or you'll see in the post, or you'll see in the show notes. Okay, click on the link, book your call. Okay, book your call with me. In fact, what I'm going to do is put 2 links. One is a link to the application form for the program, and 2 is a separate link straight to booking a call with me. I want to encourage you to do that. Let's talk about how you're the right fit. Let's talk about what your goal is under the program, and let's talk about you joining in September 2024. I'm Caroline Flanagan. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate you, and I'm here always to help you keep progressing. Bye for now. I'll be back very soon.